Welcome back to The Drop for the month of September. Weston DeWitt here with you as we talk for the first time one-on-one with Admirals assistant coach Joel Rumpel. So, Rumps, you had a 8-year playing career, stops in Scotland, Norway. I just imagine it had to be absolutely beautiful seeing the world like that. Also the American League, the ECHL, and also a training camp here in Norfolk back in 2019-20 with my first year. Before we get into your coaching venture, talk to me about your career. When you sit back and reflect on everything that went on in your career, what comes to mind?
Oh, geez. Growing up, like small town Saskatchewan, I always thought I was a big city boy, city of 15,000 people. And then the places I've been, the things I've got to see over the years, every town like Allen, Wichita, Cincinnati, Utah, playing overseas in England, being in San Jose, being in Minnesota, being in Des Moines, Iowa. Apparently, I'm a small town kid that got really fortunate and got to see the world.
Tell me about that contract you signed with San Jose right out of college. Like, what was that feeling like? And just take me through the emotions of being a college kid and then all of a sudden, here's your NHL contract.
Yeah, I was never drafted. I always thought that, when you're a little kid, you always grow up thinking you're going to make it to the NHL, but you realize how hard the path actually is. And the day I signed that contract was pretty special. I mean, it's kind of like all this hard work, all the late nights, early mornings, goalie practice at 6 a.m, finally all like kind of paid off. And that was really cool.
Do you have a favorite stop along the way that you made in your playing career?
I'll always have a soft spot for Wisconsin. I was there for 4 years and won 2 championships while I was there. And then Allen, of course, 2 championships there, won a championship in Scotland. Everywhere you go that you win, it always feels a little more special.
Let's go ahead to your coaching career here. Talk to me about the process of becoming the assistant coach for this team. How did the whole opportunity come about? And what were some of the conversations that you had with Coach Carr that you're willing to share that led you to come here?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's a really weird story.
Is it safe on camera?
I think so. I was still thinking about playing one more season of hockey, and my agent contacted Carr about coming here to play goalie. And he was like, we got 2 goalies. He's like, but we do need an assistant coach. And, I was 32, 33 at the time. And I was like, maybe this is a sign. Not very many people get this opportunity at this level, this early in their career. And I was ready. I had an amazing career, got to see the world, and this was just the perfect opportunity at the right time.
Were you really in your mind ready to take on being a coach after just recently, literally just recently, completing your playing career? Were you ready for it at the time?
Yeah, I think I was. You were. I made it back to the AHL. That close to the NHL again. And at 30 years old, that's kind of hard to do. And I ended how I wanted to on my own terms. And took a coaching job, and it's worked out pretty well. So,
was there someone or something in particular that just made you go, "Yeah, this is the right thing to do"?
Not really. I mean, I was just at that point in my career that I was felt fulfilled with my playing career, everything I've accomplished and done. And I was like, you can't play forever, And it seemed like the right opportunity at the right time in the right place.
So let's talk about Jeff Carr. This is a guy that is a rock star in this town. Let's just put it quite frankly that frank. So tell us about what it's like to work with him every day, being a player and then transitioning to coach. I mean, that had to just be absolutely mind-blowing for you. What's it like to be a part of recruiting players, setting lineups with him, preparing practices with him? What's all that like?
It's pretty special, honestly. When, we talked over the phone over my hiring process, and I knew I wanted to work under this guy as my first coaching job because he is detail-oriented. He doesn't let anything slide. He's so just spot on 24/7. All he lives and breathes is hockey, and that's somebody you want to learn under.
I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curveball here. Do you have a story that involves him being very detailed that you're willing to share?
Well, I think during my hiring process, before I was getting paid to coach here, I was up in Canada waiting on my visa and everything, and He had me watch every single game. He had me give detailed notes, and I'm like, I'm not even being paid yet, you know? And yeah, so I knew right from the get-go that he's a person that I'd want to learn from.
So you're thrusted into the fire in January when this club is in last place, clearly in a mode where they're looking ahead to next season, but also trying to stay competitive down the stretch as well. So take me back to those first few months when you were the assistant coach of this team. What's going through your mind, and what are some of those little things that you learned in the first few months of being the coach?
Yeah, obviously it was a whirlwind of a season. When I first got here, we won our first 2 games. So, I thought everything was happy-go-lucky, But I know you guys have been earlier in the year when the struggles were real. But I don't know, we were a young team. We were building, we brought in Wazzy, we brought in Whitey, some leadership, some core guys. And, we kind of just started building from there. So it was just, I kind of walked into thinking, all right, this is the start of the season for me. I don't care about the past. I don't care about the history. And I kind of just walked in from day one and took it at that point.
From more of an X's and O's standpoint, like you mentioned Wazzy and Whitey, what they bring to the club from a veteran standpoint, this team finished the season really strong and gave the fans a really good positive vibes going into this season, and a good reason to just be fired up in general. So why do you think that this team started to gel down the stretch?
Honestly, leadership. Any team that I've ever won on, every, championship year that I've had, it comes down to your leaders in the locker room. And I think we were close before I got here, but, you got a leader like Wah that's just so stoic, and so just his presence in the room makes everybody better around him, and it's that vital.
I'm sure you're excited to get all this offseason stuff out of the way and get behind the bench and just coach again. So for those who don't know you and your coaching mind frame, I know you're still early, you're still trying to figure out your mechanisms and schemes as a coach in a sense, but what is Joel Rumpel's mentality every time he steps into the arena?
I mean, honestly, I would just try to make every player better, whether it's the mental side of the game, whether it's the coaching side, whether it's the X's and O's, whether it's video, every player is different. And I think I can see that. And, I've been around a lot of the locker rooms. I've been around a lot of people, through my playing years. So individually, I just try to help every single player try to make it to a place that I never got to go.